Hi, hello, I'm back. It's yours truly, Jackson Small of Animation Station. Yes, I was gone for a while. I apologize for the wait. I thank you guys for waiting. I already made a whole big community post if you want to know all the big updates for this channel going forward. Go check that out. But for those of you that are here for just the review, well, thank you for your patience. Let's finish off this franchise. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Animation Station, where it's for animation, including TVs and movies as well. I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome to Minions 2, The Rise of Gru. I know this review is pretty late, and I thought I reviewed this movie when it first came out back in 2022, but apparently I did not. I thought I did, but I didn't, apparently. So, this is going to be my review right here, and honestly, I don't really have much to say about it, because my opinion hasn't really changed on it in the past 2 years since I saw it. But, I will say this is another good entry in this franchise. But, it's very middle of the pack in terms of the franchise overall. With the exception of a certain awful garbage one that just came out, but we'll talk about that one later. So, here's my written review, short, sweet, to the point for Minions 2, The Rise of Gru. I hope you guys enjoy. Saw this one when it first came out, and needless to say that my expectations were pretty low. And while it did miss my best list because 2022 was stacked with fantastic movies, like, seriously, 2022, it was so stacked, it was ridiculous. You want to know how stacked? Go watch my best movies of 2022 video. Link will be in the description. But I was still pleasantly surprised by this one and found it surprisingly pretty good. Nowhere near the first two Despicable Me films, but pretty entertaining. Watching it again, honestly, my thoughts still haven't really changed much. It's a pretty solid sequel to Minions that fixes all of its biggest problems, while putting a greater emphasis on the world building and focusing back on what this series was actually good at. Gru and his interactions with the Minions. Yes, it does suffer the same issue as Despicable Me 3 with the Minions and Gru being separated for a majority of the time, but it's not nearly as egregious. Like, it's done a lot better here, is what I'm saying. They learned their lesson. The animation's still great, voice acting is really good, having Gru back is fantastic, and it's fascinating seeing how he became a villain. Like, this is pretty much Gru's origin story, in a way, and I actually find it really fascinating. Story's solid, the new characters are pretty good, especially Wild Knuckles and Michelle Yeoh's Kung Fu Master, I never got her name, unfortunately, who are both the best part of the movie. Like, those two characters, I was invested in both of them the entire time. Wild Knuckles especially, like, damn, probably one of Alan Arkin's best roles. I believe that was Alan Arkin that voiced him. Editing will correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, I kind of lost my spot. The action is some of the best in the series. The fight scenes in this movie are legit great. Some of the jokes are pretty good, especially with the grand return of the dark jokes that are on the level of the original. There are some pretty funny moments in this movie that I did really like. Pretty fun callbacks to the original that feel pretty nostalgic. A brisk runtime, great pacing, and good rewatchability. Like, this is a solid film. Like, I don't really have a whole heaping ton of problems with it. But it's still not a great film. It still has low-hanging fruit jokes that are eye-rolling, a lot of butt and fart jokes. The ending is bonkers without really feeling earned. The Vicious Six, while cool in design, are just okay as villains. I mean, way better than some of the other ones in this franchise, but that's not saying much. They're still below Vector, is what I'm saying. There's a few continuity plot holes that do lead to some confusion, and the actual Minion part of the Minions movie is very mediocre. In other words, if you took out Gru and focused on just the Minion part of this Minion movie, it'd probably be on the same level as the first Minions, maybe just a little bit over, but about the same. Overall, though, it's a pretty solid sequel to the original Minions, and it's much more entertaining. But it's very middle of the pack when stacked up with the rest of the series. It's way better than 3 in the original Minions movie, but still below the first two. Final verdict for this movie for me is going to be a strong, solid, rock solid, hasn't changed at all. 7 out of 10. Solid film that is entertaining, but could definitely be better. It could be better, but it could also be a lot worse, so I'll take what I can get. It was surprising when it came out, and it still surprises me now. Pretty solid film. I'm actually legit surprised a Minions sequel is actually this good, but it is this good. I do recommend giving this movie a watch, and I don't think you have to watch the original Minions to really get this movie's overall feel, because it feels very different and disconnected from the first Minions movie. So, my recommendation, watch 1, watch 2, and then watch Rise of Gru. That's my personal recommendation. Unfortunately, though, from what I've heard, the newest one is a huge plummet off a cliff, so join me next time for yet another review of yet another bad 2024 sequel as we end this marathon on a dud rather than a bang. Yeah, we gotta talk about Despicable Me 4 next. A movie that possibly has just topped Kung Fu Panda 4 for the worst fourth installment of the year. Yeah, the next review is not gonna be fun. See you then.
We cannot take it anymore. The time is coming. Finally ready for.